So we did our golden pose, we blocked in our extreme and breakdowns, and now we've gone in and we've blocked in our in-betweens. So the last step is to spline everything that we've done. And I'm going to do that by holding shift, left clicking and highlighting the timeline. Right clicking, going to tangents and hitting auto. And now everything will spline together. I'll start by playing it back. Yeah, looks good. Quite whippy on the rotates, so I think we'll have to look at the rotates to try and fix it. But relatively decent as far as the translates are concerned. We'll have a look at the translates first in the graph editor. So that's good slow in, relatively decent curve that. There's no nasty bumps in it or anything like that, so that's good. Same with the Y, good curve. Same with the Z, so that's all fine. The rotates tell a bit of a different story. There's a jank there, so I think I'll pull that out to about there. I'm going to have a quick look and see how this affects it towards the end. Same with the Y. And you can see when you're looking at when you're doing this in the graph editor, don't forget to look at the actual viewport and see what you're doing to the character when you're doing that, to make sure you're not doing anything extreme or damaging. I think I'll do this one. I think I'll move this one up like that so it's heading roughly in the right direction. These two are connecting with each other from end to end. So I'd rather they didn't slow out, I'd rather they were pointing down like that, because it's a loop. And if you think about it as being one consistent line, I've got a way of showing you that. If I turn infinity on, and then go to curves and hit post and hit cycle, you'll see how a cycle works. So you can see there that it's continuously looping. If this was flat like it was before, and if the beginning was flat like it was before, you'll see that it creates this nasty bump here. So that's why I'll go in and tell the beginning and the end to be straight lines instead, because it'll give us a much nicer result from end to end. Okay, yeah, so things are looking fine. Good, good, not bad. Let's have a look at rotate Z. Another one that's looking a little bit mangled and not very consistent. Again, I'll look and make sure I'm not doing too much damage. This is the really important one. This is the most obvious spline curve, this Z one. So I do need to be careful about what I do here in the graph editor. I don't want to just go moving things around to make spline curves look nice, when in actual fact in the viewport things are starting to look incredibly strange. I don't think I'll push that any further than that, because if I go too far it's going to look like she's got a broken wrist. So it's going to be this one that I'm going to move to try and improve how that flows. I'll probably go to about there. Failing that, I might move this one a bit to try and help how that flows. And again, these two, I'm going to straight line them so that they roughly land into each other a bit better. I can see where it's going. It's heading right into this, so it does want to slow out a bit. Let me play this back. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, I'm pleased. That's my X curve, Y, Z, X, rotate X there, rotate Y, and rotate Z. And then in the viewport, things look fine. It's important to double check that everything looks okay in the 3D perspective as well, because sometimes RenderCam can play tricks on you. So I'm just having a look. And you see that big snap? So there is something slightly off about this. It just doesn't look very good from another angle. You can really see that snap in the arm. So I need to look and find out what that is. It's there. Can you see that? So something strange happened from frame 15 to frame 16 that I need to find out what it is. And I can see it there. On the rotate X curve I can see that there's a nasty jank there, which isn't flowing very well. Down here a little bullet point will appear next to whichever curve it is, so I know it's rotate Z. And it's what I did earlier to try and make it flow a bit nicer, and it's had the opposite effect. So I'm going to grab this handle, I'm just going to move it in and soften that a lot more so that that isn't as extreme. And play it back now. There's still quite a snap on that, mind. There's still quite a big move. So that tells me that maybe I need to slow into that a bit more. Because you can see that is a very big move from here to there. So I might take this and just ease off a bit like that. There we go. So if we look at perspective now, it's not looking so harsh. But did you notice I didn't see that in the render cam? I only saw that when I came into perspective. And although I got away with it in the render cam, it doesn't mean that it was going to be okay in the final render, because that might have come out as a very harsh blur in render, because render will have motion blur on it. So it's important to check perspective view to make sure that the animation you've done is working from all angles. So I'm quite happy with that. The final thing to do is to add a bit of straight ahead animation on top of it to make things look even better.